is Marquez Valdez-Scantling for the second straight week. He catches a long ball.
Yeah.
2 of them against the Bills.
Thank you to CBS for that one. That was the winning score, 17-10, the final, which brings us then to a wide receiver who would love to resurrect his career catching footballs from either Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy. The one, the only, Frank Sanders, former Arizona Cardinal wideout, also Baltimore Raven. All right, Frank, welcome as always, my brother. Take us to wide receiver. You're watching the game. And I asked Jax this question early in the show. I'm going to ask it of you. How can you have a team like the Kansas City Chiefs in the last few games before you get to the playoffs have their receivers dropping football after football, and now in the playoffs they hang on to everything? How does that happen?
Look, good to be with you guys, Jimmy B. You know what, man? It's amazing how you watch these guys go through the process and how the team has stuck with those guys all year. I think the confidence that that their teammates can constantly speak life into them, that the quarterback doesn't give up on them, that the offense coordinator still calls plays and leave those guys out there. And I think that, when you realize the moment and you realize who you're playing with and you realize the guys that are already got Super Bowl rings still believe in you, then it allows these guys to transition into the moment. And I think it's just it's great to see. Of course, it was tough throughout the year, but when you watch these guys in the playoff at the biggest moment, because that was the biggest question mark, will these guys be able to handle the big lights, or will they cost you the game? And it looks like these guys are definitely rising to the occasion.
And you talk about costing you the game. Look at Zay Flowers, as good of a season he had. I just want to get your thoughts, Frank, on when you're looking to run into the end zone, at what point you just carry the ball through the end zone as opposed to like doing this stretch out thing. And let me ask you I don't think I ever saw Frank Sanders get the emotional first down thing go off on just catching a first down. When did all this start, and did it catch up to this rookie wide receiver?
Well, first question, when I think that's just a bang play, it's reactionary. When you're at the 3-yard line and you see that you're possibly going to get hit, the number one thing is in your mind, you automatically know is I just got to get this ball across that white line at some point or some part of it, and it becomes a touchdown. The beauty of the play is that the defensive backs, with all the stuff that's happening in a millisecond, decides to fire a punch at the ball and cause it to come out. That's just, it's two guys getting ready to make a play, and the defensive player just coming up on the better end of that fumble. The first down, getting up and celebrating, and it's. I remember this one time, guys. One of the guys was making a play, and he was getting up and doing all that rah rah rah. Look at me, and pointing and doing all the overdoing something in a celebration for just a first down. I remember Joe Green yelling at him, saying, "Get your A back in the huddle. That ain't S." It was like it wasn't nothing. It was like that was just it. And I remember that, man. I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. Joe Green ain't going to be yelling at me.
There you go.
But, Frank, he got penalized for that on top of it. Can you imagine going to the sideline and Joe Green having to grabbing one Frank Sanders behind the collar and having a little sit-down moment?
Oh, I definitely can. I know exactly what it looks like because I seen Joe Green literally forearm some guy, man, that came in and trying to celebrate. And it was just one of those moments like that wasn't football. Get up and do your job and be a professional about it. At the time to celebrate is when you're in the end zone. And after that, you still got to do it with some class. And that's what those guys did. But, this mindset, man, that you need to be flashy at every moment. And you got 4 quarters of football is just crazy to me. I mean, you need to do your job, and at the end of the day, come away with the W. And if you can do that and help your team do that, then that's the most important part.
Frank Sanders is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, Frank, what sold you or what was the best plays that you saw in each game? And I'll start because we were discussing Lamar Jackson passing the ball to himself. And then in the second game, the doink reception by Ayuk, and he takes it in for the score. you've been playing the game a long time. Have you ever seen two crazier plays than those two?
No, I mean the quarterback catches his own pass. That's something you possibly could see throughout the game because a lot of guys kind of got their hands at the bat the ball down. But the doink off a guy, which truly had an interception, and again, DBs are the best. They got the best flippers on the planet, but they couldn't catch a cold in a freezer. So it just it blows my mind how that happens. But the ability of the ladybug guy just to reach his hands out and still catch the ball, that's pretty amazing.
I think overall, you look at Kelsey, you look at Kittle, and back to what Jimmy was talking about as far as catching the football, I think that's where the experience of Andy Reid, the play caller, giving a quarterback and giving receivers very catchable balls early in a game. And Frank, you talked about giving that confidence with the passing game. And when you throw your tight end 11 passes, he gets 11 catches over the time. I thought that the way that Andy Reid manipulated that to help these guys out was probably the untold story that not a lot of people are talking about.
No, you're right, man. It's crazy. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and you say, who do we need to stop? You don't name none of their receivers. You might say Rice, but you're not going to say like Travis Kelce is the guy we need to stop. Mm-hmm. And they did nothing to stop Travis Kelce. And it was all the mindset of the defense of the Ravens looked like their whole intent was just to get the quarterback and bang him up pretty good and try to get him out of the game by the third or fourth quarter. And it didn't work. Everything you say right there is absolutely right. The way they use those quarterbacks, the way the quarterbacks use the tight end, Brock Purdy did an excellent job of getting the ball to Kittle, as well as, Mahomes doing it with Travis Kelce. And we talked about that last week when you brought up the young kid that's coming in from Georgia and how does teams get to use him. You're watching it. They're just finding ways to get the ball to the tight end because he is the conduit to make the offense go. And every successful offense, if you look at it in the past, man, has had a tight end he's been more of a playmaker between 70 and 90 catches a year over the last 10 years since Jimmy Graham broke the mold of tight ends. So it's just special to watch.
You're right. I think a lot of people think that Brock Bowers, who you referenced out of Georgia, is going to be the next Travis Kelce or George Kittle because he's sensational.
Now, he really is. And they've done a great job of using him in the offense. But again, you watch it from college to the pros. It's just like they don't pay attention enough to the tight ends. And the quarterbacks are just finding ways to get these guys the ball. And it's a beautiful thing to watch in the artistry of coaches, designing plays to attack your defense. And the tight end, if you got a good tight end, he breaks down defenses. Just a little quick note. Congratulations to you, Manute, man, and everything that Brock is experiencing. It's got to be pretty special for you, the family, and all the things that you've done. All the kids that you're training and mentoring and teaching. All those kids get to watch and see, man. If I just listen to what he's saying, it's possible. I mean, I think that's pretty amazing, man. I really do. I think it's pretty amazing.
And you just never know, right, Frank? I mean, I tell those young men, you work your butt off, and they all follow and they see Brock's story.
That's it.
He may not be the best, most athletic, but you know what? He wins and he gets a lot of things done. But I appreciate that, Frank, because I tell these young men, why not dream upon a star? You know what? You just might catch one, and it might take you somewhere. So I really appreciate that.
No, brother, it's a beautiful moment when you get the chance to get in the sunlight. And but it's even prettier, man, when you just realize everything you've been taught, you can transfer it at any level. That's been the biggest struggle for all these first-round drafted quarterbacks that they just can't transfer that. They can't transfer the knowledge or the simple things that make a quarterback be a great quarterback and to go out and do his job effectively. Once they figure that out, and Brock has done a wonderful job of that, of taking the mentoring and the teaching, and we're watching it displayed, before our eyes, and I think it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Frank,
so congratulations to you, man, and the Academy.
I appreciate that. It's not prettier, it's purtier.
Oh boy,
is what's happening.
No
there.
boy,
you
would have to shut him up for that.
You see what I did there, Frank? You got me there.
Yeah, but I was pretty slick.
Thank you, my brother. Have a good day.
All right, brother. I'll do the same, man.
There you go. Frank Sanders, everybody. And he is correct, Manuch, about what you have
Thank
done
you. I appreciate
with
that.
your football.
We could not be
academy.
more proud of that young man. But you know what? Brock Purdy has done. He's been bound. He's been determined.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young man that's worked his butt off. And you know what? He doesn't care about all the naysayers. He just goes out there and just does his thing. You know, he does his Brock Purdy thing.
All right, coming up, we're going to update you on what's on television tonight, sports-wise, plus today's State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day, and football at 50. Rock with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Transaction complete.
How's that credit card statement looking?
Uh-oh. Not good.
Don't miss your